Penrith Panthers look to keep their their unbeaten run intact as they continue to break records on a weekly basis at this point. Currently 3 points clear of the ladder. It's just, you look at this Tigers side and you think, even with Grant back at this point, it's, so the Panthers, they're without Coruscant. Naden back into the 3-shirt tour, comes back onto the wing. Fisher Harris into the 13. Yo covers that gap as well. Leota comes from the bench to the starting prop. As I mentioned there, Yo into the 11 jersey. Their bench doesn't look any weaker for having those players missing. I mean, you got May, Leniu, Burns, Tetevano, all on the bench. It's just, how do you look at this Panthers side and think, okay, there's a weakness in there somewhere, just based on how these players are playing this year?
You don't. I think, putting it very simply, you don't. If there is one weakness potentially going through the middle, Yo going to the edge, whether that means he ends up defending in the middle, or whether he decides, whether he sticks as a true edge, or potentially, as we do see, there is a certain Kurt Capewell in the 19 that may come back a little earlier than expected from his MCL injury, so he could slot into the end of the 11 where Yo goes to the 13, Fisher Harris to prop, Leota down, and you go from there. But I don't really think that there's much of a weakness. The Tigers do get Harry Grant back, the inevitable Rookie of the Year, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a gain when you just look at how good this Panthers side is. Ideally, I want this one to be close, because for another week I'd love to be singing, we are ninth again, the mighty Tigers, we are ninth again. I apologize to anyone's eardrums if they have burst, but yeah, look, the fact that we both have the Dragons getting up and the Tigers, I'm assuming you don't have the Tigers this week. There's a chance that they will drop down from ninth spot. I'm not touching an over-under. I'm not touching a margin. I'm just going with 3 straight try scorers. Brent Naden at $2, fantastic value for me. When you have the likes of Crichton, To'o, and Mansour all at odds on or better, I'm absolutely going to take Brent Naden at even money. On a great streak, I think he'll just be slicing through. Potentially could get a double. In terms of some value, I think it's going to be Liam Martin that is running at Benji Marshall. You could pick either half, really. Both Brooks and Marshall haven't been great defensively this season, but I think Liam Martin is going to be the bustling second rower that Cleary will put over from short range. And I think Cleary himself will get a try. He's gone a couple of weeks without one. If there's going to be a week, it's going to be a Tigers defense that does slide very well. But as a result, because they slide a lot, and partially because they're having to defend so much, you might see Cleary jink back in, much like what Jerome Luai did last week, jinking back in, trying to get in closer to the posts. So Panthers, that's the obvious one. But Brent Naden, who's at $2, Cleary and Martin, both at $3.10. If you want to multi them together, $20.
Okay, some decent value there. I'm going to go with a bit of an outside shout here. So I'm going to go Tor anytime. I'm going to go Fisher Harris anytime. And I'm going to go Panthers on the line. And the reason that I say Fisher Harris in there is I think with him playing in the 13 shirt, he's going to get a lot more ball. I think he's going to have a little bit more freedom in the middle as well. So when the Panthers do go straight up the middle, as you've seen as they do with Yo plenty, I think that Fisher Harris has that ability to split the line and coming up against if you're looking at the middles, I know that Brooks and Marshall tend to defend on the edges, but then just inside you've got the likes of you've got Grant defending in the middle, who is pretty solid defensively, but has been seen falling off tackles. If you're going to go straight up the middle, Ali, Michele, two very good forwards, no disputing. I just think Fisher Harris has the ability to get a bit of a step on, get a bump on, go through, and potentially go over untouched as well.
Oddly enough, and this could be a very good sign or a very bad sign, both of our multis, $20 a pop. I do want to say this before we quickly move on to the next game, and we probably should have said this at the start, but I'm sorry, I only thought of it. Obviously, the team list change from here on out. We keep records of everything, so we have an Excel spreadsheet that we have kept from round 13 onwards. At some point, I'm going to go back and make sure that we get each round. If a player doesn't play, we cut the tip. We don't say that the player coming in takes their spot. We cut the tip. The multi becomes an NA because we know most bookies will just avoid the entire multi. At least that's what Sportsbet does. So just keep that in mind. Don't get angry with us if we go 13 to 28 one week, but it could have been 13 to 32 because 4 players didn't play. So just keep that in mind if you do watch this, because we know a lot of our views come right before game time or right after. So just something to keep in mind.